Mountaintop removal is an extremely destructive type of mining process in the Appalachian Mountains, in which the tops of a mountain's surface is removed to acquire coal. This process is done using explosives and heavy machinery. Coal is a useful resource that supplies parts of the United States electricity. Hence, when coal is burned, it produces energy. The energy produced when coal is burned is due to the density-packed organic carbon. Coal in the Appalachian Mountains is sought after because of its high heat value and its higher energy production. The processes of mountaintop removal mining are practiced by large coal companies in the region. Surface mining is efficient because it requires less workers, but in the United States, these processes are very controversial and have had numerous federal court cases between the EPA and the Army Corps of Engineers and several protests to stop the surface mining in the Appalachian Mountains. The Environmental Protection Agency and the Army Corps of Engineers passed the Surface Mining Control and Reclamation Act and the Clean Water Act to regulate surface mining and conduct inspections of surface mines. Additionally, the CWA of 1972 protects and maintains the habitats of water streams, rivers, and water bodies. MTVF is a surface mining technique that converts forested watersheds to flattened grasslands to extract coal. MTVF removes the top surface of the mountain, allowing the extraction of coal underneath the ground. Explosives and heavy machinery are used to do so, which results in permanent damage to the ecosystem. The forests within the Appalachian Mountains contain many unique natural resources. Many major U.S. rivers are formed in the Appalachian Mountain region, and MTVF destroys the rivers, putting their ecosystems at a high risk. According to Emily Bernhard and Margaret Palmer from the Department of Biology at Duke University, more than 2,000 species of vascular plants have been recorded in the region, and the rivers and the streams of the southern and central Appalachians have been identified as the most biologically diverse freshwater systems in North America. The burial of headwater streams are extremely important in the river networks because they provide numerous resources that feed all downstream waters. After the process of MTVF occurs, the extra debris is dumped into the rivers and valleys across the mountain, damaging the ecosystem even more.
Figure A displays hotspots for at-risk fish and mussel species within the United States of America. If you look at the map closely, you can tell that there are a lot of high-risk species within the Appalachian region. The red and yellow areas indicated on the map are locations that are impacted mostly by mountaintop minings. The Central Appalachian is a very biodiversity region that provides habitats for thousands of plants and animals that are only located there. Mountaintop mining is the leading cause of changes in the aquatic ecosystem, which leads to the aquatic species population decrease and even disappearance. The diverse wildlife and plant life is unique to the areas of the United States, which is being mostly affected by mountaintop mining.
Effects of MTVF. MTVF leaves surrounding stream systems in disarray. Drilling through them or using them as disposal systems for mining waste. This creates issues for ecosystems downstream of the mining sites as waste and sediment lands in any previously viable water supply for inhabiting species. In addition to that, killing of vegetation as well as leveling of valleys and landscape contours ruins the stream's original pattern of flow, rerouting harmful sediments into larger reserves and streams. Local effects of MTVF. Massive displacement of soil to make room for these mines creates long-term harm to the rate at which native vegetations/forests can grow back in the infertile soil. With insufficient amount of carbon required to sustain plant life, nothing is done with the barren mining locations. Stormwater runoff also becomes an issue, as without proper vegetation, there are increased chances mine watersheds will overfill and create flooding issues, as well as further damage any surrounding habitats and wildlife.
Mountaintop mining with valley fill operations results in the overall damage of water quality in streams, the structure within the environmental community, and functions of the ecosystem. There is an increase in the amount of sulfate present throughout the catchment. Not only are sulfur levels increasing in the nearby streams, they are also increasing in the water systems that connect to it, causing negative changes in the chemical structure of the water found in both areas. Increased conductivity is leading to increased toxicity in streams below the area of mountaintop mining. Organisms living in this impacted area are directly affected and oftentimes killed due to this toxicity. Lastly, co-occurring contaminants that naturally do not interact with one another are increasing the pH of the water in tributaries of the contaminated watershed due to acid buffering.
What is being done to mitigate the local and longitudinal impact? In the local areas where MTVF occurs, the creation and renovation of streams are done in hopes to receive credit for mitigation actions. In longitudinal areas, work is being done in hopes to minimize the degradation of waterways in the U.S. Are there limitations to these mitigations? Yes, there are many limitations. New streams are not made to function. They are simply just a structure. The new streams do not support life, and in many cases do not even hold water. The new streams do not compare to the originals. There is much work needed to be done concerning the new ecological condition. What can be done to improve the current deficiencies in reclamation and mitigation? Guideline revisions need to happen so that reclamation will have a qualitative measure added. As you can see in the top image, that is the new stream. This will not support wildlife and is not very functional. And in the bottom, you can see that was the original, and that is very full of life and functional.
Mountaintop removal is resulting in not only the headwaters flowing off the mine mountains being affected, but the catchments that are connected to those headwaters as well. The Central Appalachian region currently has the most to lose, as species of wildlife and plant life native to the Central Appalachian area are at risk for the loss and destruction of the high level of biodiversity this region is home to. The mitigation of the destruction already caused is minimal, and while there are lawsuits and court cases against the process of MTVF, there has been little headway made. Coupled together, these effects are long-lasting and detrimental to many regions surrounding the Appalachian, where more needs to be done to limit the damage taking place.